I think everyone has managed to log in, so yay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for this webinar. We're going to be looking at GIS stuff today. So, um, you know that throughout the entire month, we have a whole range of webinars every week. And just to introduce myself quickly, my name is Shoaib Yunus. I'm the BIM specialist in civil infrastructure for Baker Baines, and I normally host all of the civil and infrastructure webinars in that space. So thank you for joining us today. Like I said, happy Friday. This one is going to be a very quick blitz webinar, in and out, something very basic but very effective. Okay, so there's not much focus on the GIS aspect of things in terms of Autodesk and content, but we're going to be looking at that much better today and hopefully give you a quick rundown on how easy it is actually to do asset capture. So we're going to use object data tables to help us in that pursuit, and you will see how simple it is actually to incorporate that into your design. Okay, so let's get on with it. So this is our quick agenda for today. Okay, we're going to look at more or less what Map 3D is. So a lot of people don't know what it is or what it does. A quick functionality overview. So I just put in like a quick infographic that I made, where it will look at the key features or the features I feel that stand out in the software. And then we're going to dive directly into the software and do an ODT, right? So object data table, and then we're going to conclude. So like I said, quick in and out, because I'm just going to start off with the basics in GIS. And then as the series builds on, we're going to get into much more in-depth stuff. All right, so let's get into Autodesk AutoCAD Map 3D. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but let's get into it. So what is it? It's used for geospatial mapping in GIS. That's the more broad or summary I could give you in terms of what it encases. CAD and GIS combined, so you can do your normal AutoCAD drawings and capture. And the great part of it is you can attach metadata to it. So for all those GIS professionals that are logged in at the moment, you would be well versed in terms of using metadata and how important it is in terms of your asset capture. For those that are new to it, it's basically adding information to information. So if you have an object and line, GIS allows you to link attribute data to it and give you much more information. So instead of just getting the length of the line, you can add so much more data and make it much more data rich, if I could put it that way, and create really good infrastructure and as-built data. So that's what exactly I'm going to be doing today with an object data table. And you're going to see how such a simple thing can be so effective in terms of our infrastructure today in South Africa as well as the world abroad, right? So this is what we're going to be focusing on today. If you versed with the Autodesk, before Map 3D used to be sold on its own, it's still on its own. However, now we have incorporated it into the AutoCAD. So we call it one AutoCAD. So if you buy AutoCAD from 2019 onwards or 2018 onwards, you'll see that now you can, when you buy it, you get access to a whole range of other software, which is amazing. So before, if you just bought AutoCAD, it will just be your plain generic AutoCAD. But now when you buy it, you get access to mechanical, architectural, electrical, MEP, Plant 3D, raster, and of course the software that we're focusing on today, which is the Map 3D. Okay, so if you're not that much on the civil side of things, I would say go for the AutoCAD. Okay, so you can have access to all of those tools. However, if you have more civil, structural, survey, architect, civil and roads and stuff like that, those type of functionalities, then I would strongly recommend getting Civil 3D or just going straight for the collection, because it makes more economical and design sense. Okay, so a lot of people don't know that actual Map 3D, right, it's actually built into Civil 3D as well as AutoCAD. So just a heads up there for those that are using the civil application, that you do have access to this already. And like I said, this is just a quick overview of the slide itself. So with the new AutoCAD, you get a mobile app, which is quite cool and tech savvy. If you want to go on site without paper, this is the way to go. You got the web app where you want to share stuff, and as well as you got those specialized tools where you can actually look at the content that you require. And of course, with the latest enhancements, you got DWG Compare, which compares two drawings if there's any changes, and of course, shared views to make it that much easier to actually share your design. So go look at it. If you want more info, all my details are going to be at the end of the webinar. Contact me and we can have a chat. All right, so let's get to, so if we look at the Map 3D capabilities or the overview, I'll put in this infographic to things that stand out to me. We're going to be looking, like I said, at the object data table, the OBTs, but look at the extended functionalities that you do have. So please, my GIS people that are logged in here today, look at this and see how much of features is built in. So you got CAD, you got GIS. You can literally generate your own legends and your map books. So I know this is a big thing in terms of GIS where you want to generate layouts with your scale bars, with your tiles, your background images, your thematic maps, your queries, shortest distance trace, those type of things. You can do all of that with Map 3D. And of course, you can connect to so many FDOs. I mean, you can go to Oracle, you can SHP, SDF, raster, Kogo. There's so much you can connect to, and it's so easy to do it, right? So there's a lot of government entities that are actually moving towards Map 3D and Autodesk. And of course, with the partnering or the collaboration with Esri, which has been the biggest GIS applications in the world, you could actually see now Autodesk and Esri are combining, so the functionality is going to be remarkable. So Autodesk is going to be linking the built environment to the attributable or the Esri GIS environment. And if you know Autodesk logo, it's make anything. And with the incorporation of Esri, it's going to be make anything anywhere, which is really, really cool and exciting. So keep your eye peeled for that. And yeah, you're going to see a huge functionality boost in that spectrum. Okay, so now that I've given you a very quick rundown or introduction to what is Map 3D and where we're going with it, we're gonna literally jump into the object data table. So let me just switch my window here very quickly. All right, so you should be able to see my AutoCAD Map 3D already open. And you'll see, if you haven't looked at it before, it's very similar to AutoCAD, just built in with a GIS functionality. So currently I'm in the GIS or the planning and analysis workspace, where you can actually attach your GIS data and stuff like that. However, it does have some built-in AutoCAD functionality already in this interface as well. So if you remember AutoCAD and if you look at the weapon, I mean, you could call them weapons if I look at it that way, because they're actually getting your job done, right? Helping you attack your work much better. So if you look at the functionalities, you've got the basic AutoCAD commands here to help you streamline your work that much quicker. All right, so let's get into it. So let's say, for example, we are doing the most common one I've come across in GIS, especially in the civil infrastructure environment, is capturing as-built data for pipelines. Knowing when to add the maintenance date, when to know it's installed, who installed it, or what type of materials assigned to it, or stuff like that. You could actually customize that using object data tables. So let's get down to it. So first, I'm going to actually define a table very quickly. Okay, so let's call it, I don't know, water pipes. So let's say water pipes. Okay. Okay, and let's start off with actually, so you can type in small letters. I just prefer caps. Let's see. Let's give it material. All right. So if you notice, I'm actually adding an underscore between the naming convention. If you do not add it, it will give you an error. So I'll show you in the next one. So getting a bit of a typo here. and we can leave it as a blank. So what you can do is, if you know that most of the pipes that you're assigning are steel, you can actually write in steel and click on it. However, if you want to enter them manually, you can leave them as default and you can populate that yourself. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as default. Let's add some more stuff. Let's say um, pipe size. So look what happens here, right? So I haven't put in the underscore. So, and you will see what happens. If I click add, can you see that it's actually flagging me and telling me, listen, that's it's not accepting your field. So please make sure to put the underscore. It's a common problem or step that's actually skipped by the users, right? So don't panic. It's just a small thing and you can get that right. So let's say add that. What else can we can put installed, right? So this will be more or less the date that the pipe was actually installed. And let's say most of them was installed in, let's pick a year, 2016, right? And we can hit add, and let's do one more. Okay, no, let's just leave it as those three, keep it simple, right? And for example, if you look at material type, this should not be set to integer, but rather to character, because you're going to actually type in the type of um, material it is done in. So I'm going to click update. So you can see also how easy it is actually to change the table while you're here, right? So I'm happy with those three fields. I'm going to click, say it picked up again that I have forgotten to put an underscore there, right? So once we've got that, let's go here, click OK. And now we've got a very good table that has been generated for us. You can modify it, of course, as you can see, but what we're going to do is just going to close it. And now, normally you would have a drawing with the actual pipes drawn in, but I'm going to just make my own very quickly. So just pretend that this is a pipeline, okay? Somewhere in South Africa or in the world. Okay. So we're just going to focus on a small part of it. So if I click on this line, right, and I go to properties, you can see that this is all the data that's only visible at the moment. It's just a line, it's giving me the X, Y, it's giving me the length, the angle, those type of things. Now with the object data table, you're gonna see once we attach the data or the metadata to it, we can actually have more stuff assigned to it, which is quite cool. So let's go here and we can actually, let's do attach it. All right, so here we are. So it's going to ask you for the value or the name. I'm going to attach the objects. If I select this, for example, you see it tells me one found, right? So if I hit enter, now if I go here and I go to properties, you will see that we actually attach these type of things. So if you wanted to add your materials later, this is fully editable. That's why I didn't assign it. So let's say, for example, this was PVC. And let's say the pipe size was 150 in diameter. All right, easy as that. You've got that metadata now attached to your pipe. Let's do another one. Close that. Let's go here. So you can see as I click in here, I can also do it here. So the type, let's make this one maybe steel. Let's do the diameter of 100. And let's say this one was actually quite older and it was installed in 2015. So you can see it's fully editable and you can do things as you'd like, right? So I've got that. Let's just re-enter this quickly. So steel, pipe diameter, like I said, it was 100 and installed, let's say 2015, and attached to objects. We can attach it to that one. And let's maybe assume that all of these have the same, or it's one continuous pipe. Now, if I go here, for example, and I go to properties, can you see we've got our steel here? and our pipe size is 100. There we go. Right. So you can attach these data according to what you'd like. And of course, if you want to modify things as you need to at some times, you could actually go here. So let's try maybe one more. Let's go steel, click OK. So it updates. So it's very, very interactive, very easy, very dynamic to use. The only thing that you would have to concentrate on normally is that you'll have to go and select the pipes individually. You can see all our metadata is attached and it's quite cool. The reason why you have to do it individually is simply because the software would not know the extent or the length of each pipe, for example, or the object that you want to attach it to. It can't decipher whether that's a segment or, for example, this whole thing is one, right? So that's why you would get the vary command. So if I select these, it'll tell you that it varies because it doesn't display the same details. However, if you pick up that this was actually one pipe, you can actually go here and change it yourself. So very easy. And let's maybe make it a 150 again. And let's say it was installed actually in this year, 2018. And you see now all of them reflect the same value. So very, very interactive, intuitive, and very easy to do. If you have the GIS, SDF, or the shapefile that you already have this metadata in, you can bring it in and pull it in directly. So that's what I wanted to show you. You can see quick 15 minutes, but trust me, when it comes to the built and asset um, environments, it's much more in-depth and much more beneficial than you would think. Especially when you're doing design for future infrastructure, it counts a lot. So that's my quick demonstration. I'm just gonna switch back to my slides so that we can conclude and you can have an awesome Friday further. Let's go back here. Right, so just to conclude, you can see that how easy it is to actually do an object data table. You can customize the fields in there, select the infrastructure that you want to capture, edit it directly into the menu. And of course, this is going to lead to sustainable world infrastructure. You might be aware that throughout the world, in fact, be it in Africa or the world beyond, we all have a problem where asset capture and infrastructure of as-built data is not being done, and it makes construction linking in with existing services a nightmare, right? Coming from the construction and civil consulting background myself, we always found that this was a nightmare because we do not have the data to do much more sustainable and better predicted outcome design. So this is where this will come in, and it'll start with you. So if you apply this and use it in your design and you generate models like this, it's going to make a better future for those that are coming after us, and of course increases our sustainability going forward. So that's my conclusive summary. One more thing I wanted to just touch on before we conclude is AU Africa 2018 rather. If you look at it, it's going to be happening in South Africa this year, and it's going to be for the entire African continent, which is fantastic. It's going to be hosted in 24th to the 25th of October, so 2 jam-packed days. I promise you, being a technical person, you learn so much of things there. You look at the latest technologies applied, the workflows, and that type of things. So if you can, I really recommend joining us. I myself am going to be presenting there in the civil infrastructure space. So if you can, come say hi. There's a lot of people that we see log in here. So if you are there, come say hi. Definitely, you will learn a lot. And like I said, if you registered with a lot of bodies in South Africa, it is CPG accredited, which is fantastic. If you're thinking of which type of institutes it's accredited by, those are SAICI, SAGC, Institute of Architects, and SciMaker. Okay, so very, very cool event to participate in. You've got classes that you can attend through the entire days, different streams. You've got hands-on classes, you've got presentations, workflow-based analysis. If you want to see the entire breakdown, you can go to auafrica.com, or you could actually just drop me an email and I could actually get in touch with you. So thank you very much for attending. We really admire seeing so many people showing interest in this. It keeps us going. If you had any questions with what you saw today, please feel free to drop me an email. Here's my email here, shoaib@bakerbains.com. Alternatively, message me or add me on LinkedIn, because we keep posting these webinars on there, and it's a very interactive platform. So feel free to add me. If you had any questions, please email me. There is a follow-up blog that goes up after all of my webinars, where we more or less write a blog of what was presented, and any questions that we received from the audience via the text box, we include it in there so that you might see what are the possible answers from there. Like I said, Baker Bains, this is all our handles, and the great thing is now that we have an official YouTube channel, which is really cool. All our content is more or less posted on there, and we are very active on the rest of the social media. If you're interested in software sales, please contact my sales partner Jetson at bakerbains.com, and we could come and see you, visit you, and get a conversation going. So thank you very much for joining. Have an awesome Friday, and yeah, see you soon for our next webinar. So thank you.